Your time will come. Listen, I know how it feels. You've been putting in the work, you've been staying consistent, and yet you haven't accomplished what you envisioned for yourself. You have these goals, yet you haven't fulfilled them yet, and you see others accomplishing maybe even more with what seems to be less. Listen, I get it, but this is your path and your time will come. I want to share a reflection that I had like a week ago on this topic that I believe will be very valuable to a lot of you. With consistency and the right daily actions, everything will work out and fall into place. It may feel unfair, like it's taking longer than it should, or that others have accomplished your goals in a shorter time. But recognize this is your path. There's a reason it's taking this amount of time. You must trust in God and the path He laid before you. Do not stress or try and brute force a new path. Your time will come and absolutely everything will fall into place. You need to have the mindset that it will work out. It's not a case of if, but rather when. But you shouldn't also obsess over that when, wishing that when was now. Because it's very easy to look at your situation and wish you had more. And look online and have that feeling even more amplified. But recognize you can't compare your path to other people's paths because it is exactly that. Their path, and you have a completely unique and different path that's made for you and that you're supposed to embark on. And while you may have the goals to accomplish the same things that they themselves have accomplished, the cars, the houses, even like the mentality, your means to accomplishing those things are completely different. You can't expect to be on the same path as them, and you may have a completely different path, and you just must trust within your path and that you're on it for a reason. Because listen, it will only make sense in the future. For instance, you may have business struggles, and in the moment you're going through and you're like, why is this happening to me? Like, I wish this wasn't happening. This is setting us back so much and so forth. And then in the future, a year, maybe 2 years from that moment when you're going through those struggles, those lessons learned from those prior struggles may save you from losing so much more than initially costed you. And that initial struggle was just an essential part within your journey, and without it you wouldn't have been able to rise above and get to the next level. But looking at it from the future, looking at it from a whole view, you're able to see clearly that this thing that seems so negative in the past is actually a critical part of your journey and of your success, and without it you'd not be where you were today. So like in the moment you're like, why is this happening? But when you look holistically on a whole to your life, you'll be like, that makes sense. That is why it took this amount of time. That is why I went down this path. And you must trust within that. And now in the last part of my reflection, I spoke on not trying to brute force a new path within your life. And this is a trap that I've honestly fallen into quite a lot. Trying to fight against the current rather than using it to my advantage. Like literally just wasting energy, just trying to make a new path when instead I could use it to my advantage. Listen, I want you to think back on a period of your life when work felt easier, the problems felt simpler, and the results were just seen quicker. And the reality is that this can always be a thing when you use, like for analogy, the current to your advantage instead of trying to swim up current and have it help you get places quicker. Like there's no reason in trying to brute force a new path and be like, I'm here, I want to get to this place, so I'm going to just exert insane amounts of effort getting there. No, like look from a higher level. Don't overcomplicate things, because it's easy when you're in a certain position to like overcomplicate the problem and be so narrow-minded in your view. And that's just going to lead to you pretty much needing to exert so much more effort when the solution was so much more simpler and you just weren't able to see it. And you need to realize like success is yours to have. Like it is pre-programmed. Like with the right daily actions, with consistently, it will happen. And you need to, if you have the mindset that you need to fight the world for success, because you should be using it to your advantage rather than trying to battle against it, because it just takes so much more effort. Like it really does. Like think back, like I said, to when everything flowed easier. Remember how that felt, and that's how it can be if you don't try and like brute force everything. And in the end, as we started this video with, your time will come. I promise you. Anyways, I hope this was something of value to some of you. Just a reflection I had, thought I'd share, but yeah.